Howdy folks, Straycat 74 here. I know it's been a long time, but shit happened, and then shit happened, and then more shit happened, and I got fired for it. Then I got robbed. Well, technically he was a mover that robbed the shit out of me. He stole $12,000 worth of my equipment. Fighting with the cops and the lawyers to get that shit back. He's a child molesting convicted felon meth head, so I'm never getting my shit back. So if I seem more gloomy than usual, yeah, it's because I lost $12,000 worth of my shit. So what we're doing here is I've actually had my Dillion 550B for a while now, but I only just got it set up last night. I had to move, and I ended up having to move back, which is why we're back in the Basement of Solitude. And, well, this is the first time I'm going to do a production run. So what we need to do is load up the primers. And then we're going to do 100 rounds of 9mm. The machine's already all set up. I ran off about 50 last night, doing them one at a time, to make sure that all of the specs were correct, that the crimp was good, that the overall length was close, within 0.02 of where it's supposed to be. Yeah. Plus or minus 0.02. I actually ended up running out of projectiles, and I had to break out more and readjust my dies. So, one thing that really pisses me off is the follower for my primer alarm. Oh. Oh, God. Excuse me. I need coffee. Where was I? I was sitting over here. The follower for my low powder alarm, or not low powder, low primer alarm is shattered into multiple pieces. So I had to improvise a brass rod. Oh, thank you much. Improvise a brass rod so that the alarm will go off. I'm still resetting up everything, so everything's complete and total mess. So, pardon the interruptions. The hand reaching in from the side was my brother giving me the thumb drives I asked him for yesterday. And once we have all of this loaded up, we're going to do 100 rounds, and the whole point of this video, other than letting you guys watch me choke to death on, air, is to see, at a regular and consistent pace, how fast I can do 100 rounds of 9mm. Darn it, that one flipped over. Yeah, I know, purists are going to say, you're not supposed to touch the primers, man. Yeah, well, I have really big fingers, and these are small pistol primers, so... God, frickin'... And my left hand ain't worth jack. There we go. Last one. So, wait. turn it upside down, and you'll notice there's a little cotter pin right here. And we go, actually, let me, because there's that last one stuck right here. There we go. And we go, can you even see this? Adjust the camera slightly up. Ah, there you are. And we go, and they go down. Look through, all the primers went down the hole. Put the cotter pin back in, or else I'll lose the damn thing. Try to put the cotter pin back in the hole. I'm sure somebody wants to make a finding a hole joke. Go ahead. You're making jokes at my expense. I'm used to that by now. And then we flip that over and set this right there. You'll see how far this stands out. That should be 100 primers worth. We've got this loaded up with red dot, set for approximately 4.1 to 4.3. Yes, there is a little bit of variation from shot to shot. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do about that. It's the nature of powder measures and powder and density and crap like that. So, factory loads can vary up to 10% final velocity. And if I had editing software, I would then go out and shoot these and attach it onto the end of the video so that you can see, chronograph what I come up with. But again, standard disclaimer, don't try this at home. I are what you would call a complete and total fucking amateur doing dangerous shit. I'm no way, shape, or form a professional. So, except a professional screw-up artist. And I only say artist because, calling myself a bullshitter is redundant. Anyway, we're at the 7-minute mark, and I haven't actually done anything. So, I don't know how to add a timer to this, so you can actually see what I'm doing. So, I'm just going to start at the 7.5-minute mark, which is now. Down, up, primer, flick it with my thumb, shell, up, down, back a little bit, sets the primer, flick. Now it's shell, bullet, flick. There. All stations filled. Bullet. Again, I'm new to this machine, so I'm not rushing anything. I'm going slow and steady, nice and casual, and I'm talking with y'all. So it looks about 15 seconds a station, only because I'm going nice and slow. 15 to 20 seconds a station. And most of that's me fiddling with stuff, trying to not get my fingers crunched. Now, some of you may be asking why I hired a child molesting convicted felon meth addict to move my shit. Well, the short version is I had to move out on short notice for a period of time, and all of the movers in town wanted me to wait 3 months for them to get around to me. And I didn't have that in the hole either. I didn't have 3 months. I had 3 days. So, what the hell was that? That looked like a primer. We have to stop for a moment. This is the one of the things I love about the setup. Is you pull a pin, and I can pull that out and check primers right quick. That one's got one. Yes, I know this is interrupting the production, but this is one of the things about the Dillion. You pull these little brass, I don't know what they're freaking called, but they're stays. That one's got a primer in it, so we do that. I guess that was a spent primer that just didn't get ejected properly. Okay, back to production. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, I didn't have a choice. All of the other guys wanted 3 months to get to me, and I had 72 hours. So one of the local movers said, hey, I saw this guy that said, mover on the back of his minivan, why don't you give him a call? He overcharged me. Then for 6 months, he didn't let me get into my stuff. Every time I tried to make arrangements to get into my stuff, he had some kind of excuse. Now, he didn't tell me that he was a convicted felon. He told me that he used to get into bar fights with his brother a lot. Specifically his brother, not with other people. They would go to a bar, get drunk, and they beat each other up. And so, he had some history with the cops. That's all he told me. So, as you know, I have guns. I have a lot of guns. I'm not going to admit how many guns I have, because I don't remember off the top of my head. Because if you remember how many guns you have exactly, you don't have enough guns. As far as my collection goes, I'm missing 1 or 2. Well, not from the mover. I went to get 1 or 2 specific pieces for my collection. And then, well, I can stop buying fucking guns. Well, I'm not going to, but I can. I could. Anyhow, so when it came time to move back in, he told me it was going to be $500, and it ended up being over $1,000 for 2 guys in a minivan. Then he didn't show up with my anvil, my document safe with the titles to my vehicles, my grandfather's knife that was in the document safe, and pardon the rage, but replacement value on all of the stuff I have. Oh, that's why it won't go in. It was upside down. It's what happens when I'm watching the camera, talking to the camera, and not paying attention to what the fuck I'm doing. And back a little bit. Right. So, I'm missing a considerable amount of equipment. My guitar. I was teaching myself guitar again. I used to know how to play guitar when I was a kid. There was nothing particularly special about the guitar, except it was mine. So, that's enough of me bitching about the fucking child-raping drug addict. Because I do this to calm down. I want to be pissed off while trying to load bullets. That would be bad. Now, some of you may have questioned my sanity, and well, you should. Some of you may have questioned, how am I going to know when I run out of, run into my 100 rounds? I pre-counted these, as opposed to post-counting them. There's 100. There's also only 100 primers in here, so the alarm should go off when I'm down to the last 3 or 4, if I cut this brass rod right. Yeah, if I did something right. Slow and steady wins the race. I want to double check this one. Okay, that'll work. Forgetting what I'm doing here. And I'm staring at the camera too much. I'm looking down here at the screen, not up there at the camera. And yes, this is my laptop, so it's not the highest quality camera. Probably not the best sound. I did, however, find out the other night that if the computer's playing music, the computer doesn't record the music. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen other people use Dillion's. And the priming system on this is really interesting. Comes up and it pokes it out here, and it's got this little trap door right here that catches it. And as it comes back down, the primer feeder opens the gate and drops it into this little cup. Just out of sight back here. Okay. Double checking. Yeah. Fleck, then bullet, and shell. Right. Getting distracted again. Okay, we're at the 10-minute mark, and besides being distracted, choking to death, and going slow, now I'm told that people that actually know what the fuck they're doing can do 100 rounds in 10 minutes, and we're over the 10-minute mark on the on the reloading thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to down, down, up, and up. Again, I'm not racing. I'm not trying to go fast. I'm trying to be consistent. Now, two things that I've added to this press is there's a little light right here that helps illuminate down inside the shells, and then there's a light right here. You can see it's really freaking bright. That illuminates the part that you guys can't see because of glare. And that's the one accessory I actually had to buy. Let me unplug this for a second. Okay, that's just the top light. You know, there's a lot less glare there. And I can still see. I've got other lights on so you can see me. Not that you want to. But it's much darker. You know, for what I'm doing, I don't need, you know, lots of glare, but I also hold the bullet until it's almost into the seating die, and then I pull my fingers away. That's something you can't see there. It's hundreds of pounds of force. I don't want to crush my fingers, okay? I'm sure you're used to me being all kind of goofy, so why else would you watch me? Well, to see me get hurt, but yeah, that's beside the point. I'm going to plug that back in. You guys are just going to have to deal with the glare here. I like seeing what's going on. And yes, I know other systems have automatic other things. Like my Lepro 1000 had this shell feeder that mostly worked. And it had a bullet feeder. So that all I had to do was monkey with a handle, down, up, seat, and it would make bullets. It didn't make them well or consistently. We had low powder, high powder, messed up primers, too high, too low. Half the time it wouldn't put a primer in. So that's why I got rid of the Lepro 1000. After 10,000 rounds, it kind of wore out too much. So parts started breaking, and I upgraded my press. Now, I still have my old RCBS rock chucker, and I'm probably still going to be using that for 44 Magnum, just because I like the process, It's kind of like meditation for those people who are into that weird crap. I can't meditate. I can't shut my brain off long enough to meditate. Always thinking about something, and that's part of what got me fired. No, I'm not going to go into details on that. Just not important. I shoot 44 Magnum because it's fun. Making the bullets for it. It's fun, one step at a time. Every single bullet I complete, it's a little accomplishment. Yay! Big fingers, little bullets. And like I said, I'm not going fast. I could probably go twice this fast, but I'm also not fully awake. I haven't been sleeping well. So, as you can see, I'm only halfway through my first coffee. Okay, now this bullet's got a ring around it, and I don't know what that signifies other than, it's got some kind of little dimpled ring around it. I'll show it to you here in a moment, because like I said, I'm not going fast. if I'm going to be able to show that on camera because my finger's too big. See, there you can see the ring around it. I don't know what the hell that means. Some whole crenellation thing around the middle, the waist of the bullet. That was one of the few that were actually like that, so I don't know. So if you're expecting me to have even half of the answers, you're sadly going to be mistaken. But supposedly one of the earmarks of intelligence is knowing you don't know, and there is so much I do not know. We're getting close to the end here. And like I said, slow and steady wins the race. I'm not going fast. I'm not trying to set any kind of speed record. I just wanted to bring you on this journey. Of loading up 100 rounds with the machine already all set up, so that A, I was producing content again. At least I'm producing something. Ooh, hey, that's the first time it's done that. One moment. Yes, I realize more distractions. Being able to breathe is important. Being able to drink coffee is important. Being able to crush your enemies is important. Yes, I'm that much of a geek. Anybody that tells you differently obviously doesn't know me. You know, there's stages of geekery. Most geeks just have certain specialized interests that make them stand out just a little bit from normies, muggles, however you want to call them. Now, they're usually highly intelligent, but mostly functional in average society. Then you have nerds, who are, well, they're nerds. They have usually much more specialized interests, you know. Then you have dorks, who are nowhere near as intelligent as they think they are. Napoleon Dynamite being a dork. Sheldon Cooper being a nerd, and I hate that character. I hate that character. You know, Stan Lee. I like Stan Lee. Stan Lee's a geek. Great guy. Very personable. Inventor of some of the world's greatest comics. I like Stan Lee. He is a geek. And I have all the respect in the world for him. But he's a geek. So am I. So, I'm in good company. Notice I said I'm in good company, not he's in good company, because I'm not really that good at company. But Stanley would be good company. Bet you there's never a dull minute around Stanley. Okay, we're coming down to the last couple few here. We can see my meters getting low. I'm also starting to have trouble finding the brass in the little bucket thing here because, well, I'm not looking in it. I'm just reaching. I've got a big old box of Extreme Bullets copper plated 124 round nose, which is different from the 124 flat nose that I normally load, because I normally load for my lever gun and my pistols. Well, my HK94 and my Beretta don't care for the flat nose very much. So, where was I? Sorry. Yes, I realize we're over a half hour at this point, and I'm still working on this. We didn't start until the 7.5-minute mark, so distractions, talking, choking to death. And I'm not even remotely attempting to go quickly. I'm going for consistency rather than expediency. Because until I find an employer, I don't have anything else to do. Well, I got lots of stuff I could be doing, but like working on in my forge, I'm not taking a $1,500 laptop, which I bought 2 weeks before I got fired, outside where the bugs and the pollen are. And all of my other cameras went missing. So I'll put a link in the description for my PayPal if you want to help me buy a GoPro or something. Because until I'm employed, well, that works. Okay. And that's loud, so I'm going to take that out of the way, so that'll continue to push primers down. We should be just about done here. Oh, no, it goes over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I've got 6 more shells. I'm hoping we have 6 more primers. We'll double check that. Primer, good. Flick. Yes, I know that's going to slow things down just a hair, but better safe than sorry. That's the 3rd time that's done that, and I think it's because I'm not flicking it with authority. I'm sure somebody wants to make a flicking the tic-tac joke, but that hasn't happened in a very, very long time, and I'm sure all of you are well aware of the fact that I'm not the most attractive person, so we'll just leave that as an unsaid, shall we? I didn't check that one. Shoot. We'll check this one. Yes, we're still getting primers, and this is the last one, so flick. Ah. bullet on top of that one. All the way down. Okay, I can see the little primer carrier thing right here, and it does have a primer in it. So I'm going to press, flick. I don't have any more brass, so that's one less step to take. Makes that much easier because that resizes and gets rid of the primer. And I can't see a primer in there, so we ran out of primers as we ran out of brass, so they were properly counted. So, last two. Set, down, flick, crimp. 100 rounds. Just under 30 minutes. 28 minutes, and like I said, I wasn't going fast. There were a lot of interruptions, a couple of mistakes on my part, but this right here is what 100 rounds of hand-loaded 9mm. Why is there an empty case there? I'm going to have to go back and watch the video because somehow I ended up with an empty case. Let's do this. We've got powder in here. Okay, so somewhere in there, I fucked up, and a bullet, a projectile didn't get put on one of the things. So we're going to powder, bullet, seat, that's way over. That can't be right. Crimp. Where's my calipers? Okay, this is one of our production bullets, and it is 1.07. Here's that oddball. It's 1.08. So it's a hair longer. It's noticeably longer, but what is that, a 380? Okay, I have to undo this one. This is a 380 auto brass. That would explain why. Let me show you what it looks like here. Okay, see the difference in the case length? Now, with all of the 9s, they're really down far into the case. Now, that's to keep the overall length down. But this one sticks way the hell up. I mean, it's the proper length this way, but somehow I ended up with a 380 auto brass in here. Interesting. I'm going to have to do some research to see if I can safely discharge that. I also have to re-zero my mic. There we go. Off just a hair. 1.07. I can't tell if you can read that or not because the screen is at a downward angle. Fuck. Yes, language warning. If you're watching my videos, you know I fucking swear a lot. So, anyhow, I'm going to set that one aside, turn that light off, and that's me running 100 rounds through my Dillion. And yes, I realize that took 20 minutes. Well, almost 30 minutes. Because I was fucking up and fucking off as usual. That's why I bring you along with me. And, live from the Basement of Solitude. We'll see you later.